Zarzak has been waiting. An ancient nexus, long abandoned. Now ruled by the insurgents. The fearless. The deathless. Trust is rare among our kind. Yet here you are, compelled by my invitation. I offer you a haven, a fortress, hidden from the empires. I have given it life. It feeds on me. And in return, it yields knowledge, gifts, power. Prepare your forces for chaos on the front lines. Harness the might of Capsuleers with the promise of riches. And together, we will unlock Zarzak's secrets. One by one.
Bringing the right tools to a fight is key to winning. Whether you're setting out on your next mission or diving into the unknowns of wormhole space, fitting your ship well is the best way to help ensure success. In this video, you'll learn about the fitting process and how you can design a ship to take on any challenge. The first step to fitting for purpose is to pick the right ship for the task. When taking on missions, for example, you can start level 1 missions with just a Tech 1 frigate. As you progress to level 2 missions, you should look to upgrading to a destroyer. Level 3 missions usually require at least a Tech 1 cruiser, and level 4s are much more difficult, requiring the use of a battleship. When picking your ship, sometimes referred to as your hull, take note of the ship bonuses seen in the Show Info window in the Traits tab. Using modules to match these bonuses is the best way to make sure that you're getting the most out of your fit. You can get further clues about how to best fit the ship by hovering over the ship characteristics icon in the top of the window. When you're ready to start fitting, it can be useful to begin with a simulated fit. To enter Fitting Simulation, first open the Fitting window, then click on the Simulate button in the top right. This will show a holographic image of your ship and a list of modules on the left-hand side. Any changes you make now will not apply to your actual ship, allowing you to freely try out different options without having to buy all the modules first. You can even use the Hulls and Fits menu to create fits for ships you don't yet own, save your fits for future use, or browse a selection of community-created fittings. With your ship hull selected, you can now start adding modules to see how it performs. You can browse modules on the left-hand panel and click Show Info to get an idea of what they all do. Each module you add will take up some of the ship's power grid and processing power. These are represented on the lower right. Modules exceeding your power grid or CPU will be offline and unable to be used. You can also see a breakdown of the ship's stats in the panel on the right. Theory crafting and fitting for PvE is a balancing act between 4 main pillars. As you improve one aspect of the fit, you will probably need to make sacrifices in other areas to make it work. The 4 pillars to balance any successful fit are: the amount of damage per second or DPS that your ship can apply on target, your tank, meaning how much incoming damage your ship can survive, your mobility, how quickly you can move around in space, and finally, your capacitor, the energy your ship has to use the modules while in space. For the first pillar, we have your outgoing damage. There are many different weapon systems in EVE, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Your choice of weapon type will be decided by the ship hull, but you can further specialize based on how you plan to fly your ship. Projectile weapons, for example, fit onto Minmatar ships and are split into close-range autocannons or long-range artillery. Weapons are always fitted into the high slots of your ship. We can also use the low slots to add damage modules to make our guns hit harder. For our autocannons here, we're fitting 2 Tech 2 gyro stabilizers and loading close-ranged fusion ammunition. This ammo primarily fires explosive, which is effective against Angel Cartel pirates, information which can be found in the show info panel when you click on any NPC pirate. For the second pillar, we want to focus on our defensive capability, our tank. When improving the shields or armor of any ship, you can choose between using active modules such as a shield booster or armor repairer, or buffer modules like the shield extender and armor plate. There is also a third kind of tank that boosts the passive regeneration of your shield to stay alive. For missions, you will likely want to use an active tank. This will allow you to repair your ship while in space and fighting instead of running away when your shield or armor are low. Your choice in shield or armor is also usually decided by the ship hull and how many types of each slot it has. Shield modules tend to use mid slots and armor modules fit into low slots. We'll use a shield booster here to repair our shields and a hardener module to improve our resists. If you know which type of damage you'll be taking, then you can fit specific resists here, but we're going to go with the multi-spectrum shield hardener, which boosts all resists simultaneously. It can also be useful to fit a damage control. This module improves your shield, armor, and hull resists and takes up a low slot, which we have plenty of. After fitting that damage control, we're now over on CPU. To fix that, we're going to fill our last low slot with a new type of module, a fitting module. In this case, we want a co-processor to improve the ship's CPU output. Now that we have tank and damage, we need to consider the third pillar, mobility. Our autocannons are short-ranged and will only apply half their damage at their 10km fall-off. To make sure we can destroy pirates effectively, we're going to fit a micro-warp drive. This module will let us move extremely quickly to new targets at the cost of high capacitor usage and an increased ship signature radius. The alternative option to a micro warp drive would be an afterburner, which is slower but uses less capacitor and does not increase your signature. Signature radius indicates how easy it is to target your ship. A smaller signature radius makes you hard to hit and allows you to take less damage from larger weapons. This can help you tank using signature or speed by getting under your opponent's guns, effectively dodging their bullets. Such a fit might also use a nanofiber to increase their speed and agility. We're going to keep the micro warp drive for now, but notice how it uses a lot of fitting and has overloaded our CPU once again. Instead of using another fitting module, we can instead try swapping out some of our Tech 2 modules for compact versions instead. In this case, we're going to use 2 counterbalanced combat gyro stabilizers and the IFFA compact damage control, which have slightly lower stats but reduced fitting costs. Finally, onto the last pillar. We need to fix our capacitor, the amount of energy our ship can use to activate modules. Right now it runs out in only 20 seconds due to our shield booster and micro warp drive. We can start to fix that by using our rig slots. Rigs can improve nearly any function of your ship, but they cannot be removed without breaking them. Fortunately, as this is a simulation, we can test them before fitting them for real. In this case, we are going to use 3 small capacitor control circuits to improve our capacitor recharge speed. Our capacitor is still a bit unstable, so we're going to exchange some of our defense or tank for capacitor by dropping the multi-spectrum shield hardener for a cap recharger, making us cap stable. Being fully cap stable isn't always necessary, but it's nice to have and prevents us from running into a situation where our shield booster stops working. There are plenty of other modules to improve your capacitor, such as cap batteries, cap flux coils, or power relays. Each does something unique, so be sure to read the module descriptions. You may have noticed that doing this freed up a lot of CPU, since the cap recharger has lower fitting requirements. We can now remove that co-processor that we added earlier, freeing up a low slot. This slot is an excellent place to put in an application module like the Tracking Enhancer. This will improve the tracking of our guns while also extending our range out to 12 kilometers. Good application of damage on target is vital in both PvE and PvP. Your ship might have really high damage, but if you can't hit small targets, you'll never destroy them. Our fit is now complete. We can now save it, drag the fit name into chat to share it, or even buy it all now with the buy all button. There are more efficiency improvements you can make to your fit, but figuring that out is the art of fitting itself. This may involve getting out there and seeing how different pirate factions behave and how you need to prepare yourself to deal with their damage types and electronic warfare. Being properly prepared for a fight is the key component for being successful as an enforcer in EVE Online.